Hi everyone, and welcome to English 2110, 20th and 21st Century Global Literature. My name is Laura Dacus, and I'm going to be your instructor for this course. I wanted to take just a few minutes to go over the syllabus with you. I won't make this a long and labored process by reading it to you word for word or anything like that, but I wanted to highlight a few things and hopefully address any questions that you might have on the front end. Here at the top, it says, see instructor information on Blackboard, and that's where you can find my email address, which is lccline@king.edu. And that's my maiden name when I originally started teaching for King. So if you see Klein or Klein Dacus, that's also me. So Laura Dacus or Laura Klein Dacus. You can see here the catalog course description. We will be examining a wide array of literature from the 20th and 21st century, and this will be organized into 5 modules with each of these texts included here as the required reading in each of these modules, and they'll be grouped according to time period and region. Additional resources that you will need, probably these are standard for your other King courses and online coursework, you can see listed here. And again, I won't insult your intelligence by reading to you the course outcomes, but you can see here that these outcomes and these various learning objectives all center around gaining a better understanding of what literature and culture looks like in different regions of the world and how different aspects of human experience are captured through the literary representations of various peoples and places. One kind of overall question that I want us to continue to come back to throughout this course is, how do the cultures and texts that we encounter in the course confirm, challenge, or perhaps also in some ways extend or complicate our notions of what it means to be a global citizen? So I'll say that question one more time and you'll see it posted in different course materials. But how do these course texts and the cultures that we will encounter, how do these things confirm, challenge, or extend our ideas about what it means to be a global citizen? Here's just kind of a brief description of the ways in which we want to interact with each other online, appropriate language, proofreading, considering how your words and your ideas will fall on others' ears. That's just kind of a common courtesy, in the same way that if we were discussing things face-to-face in a classroom setting, you would want to be conscious of your audience and your classmates and your instructor, and make sure that you are being respectful and considerate. So that's what's being described here under netiquette. And then here you can see our 5 modules outlined. And what I'll draw your attention to here in particular is this 5th module, in which you'll be exploring a culture of your choice. And you'll get to read more about this in the course documents on Blackboard, but you will be selecting your own literary text, and you will be engaging in a project throughout the course of this term that requires an abstract or proposal, a literary analysis paper, and then a presentation to the class. So you'll find a lot more details about that in the course site on Blackboard itself. As far as evaluation methods, we have kind of a weighted percentage-based system here. So you can see module activities, quizzes, and the final paper itself, all worth 20%. The discussions, which will be throughout each module, are worth 30%, so a decent chunk of your final grade is based on those discussions. The abstract is 5%, and then the presentation is 5%. So these last three, categories, abstract, final paper, and presentation, they'll come in that order, third module, fourth module, and then fifth module, and they're all part of the long-term project, which is based on a literary work of your choice. And as far as our course policies, our modules start and end time. Modules will begin on Monday of a given week and will end on Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So you want to submit all of your work by that indicated due date and time. Any late work that you submit will result in point deductions, as would be expected. Work submitted after the due date and time of 11:59 p.m. on a given day, and that's either going to be on Thursdays or Sundays, as you'll be able to see once you get into the course site. So any work submitted after that time will result in a 10% deduction off of that final grade for each day late, up to 3 days. And then if the work is submitted more than 3 days late, I do not accept it. This is an accelerated course. As such, it's really important to stay up to date with your assignments. In the event of something unforeseen like severe illness, hospitalization, please communicate with me prior to the due date of that particular assignment about these unforeseen circumstances, and I can of course be reasonable in planning out what would be the best way to move forward for you in the course. In some instances, I may ask for some sort of documentation of those emergency scenarios. Attendance, it's very important to be logging in consistently, to be participating in the discussions, to stay up to date with the coursework, and that goes really without saying. And this next section talks just a little bit more about participation. Moving on to the discussion boards, because this is really one of the main ways in which participation in an online course is sort of felt and experienced. And if your classmates aren't participating in the discussion board, you feel their absence, obviously. So what participation in the discussion boards looks like, each module, for the most part, and you'll see, I think maybe just one exception to this in one of our modules, requires 2 initial discussion posts. And I will ask that when you do these initial discussion posts, that you not put them in one post, but make 2 separate posts, because they will be in response to 2 separate questions. And those initial posts are due by 11:59 p.m. on Thursday of the week of that particular module. And then you have to post 2 responses to your classmates' posts. And those are due by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. And there are rubrics, or a rubric, for your discussion boards that I would ask you to just carefully read and review prior to doing your first, especially your first posting, so that you can know the expectations there. As with all the written work for this course, it is expected that your papers, your posts on discussion boards, be a careful presentation of your ideas and your thoughts. So your grammar, your sentence structure, all of these things are important to consider. Proofreading and editing for clarity and conciseness is very important. You can see here the university email policy. Please email me from your King email. You can also see here the grading system that I will be using and the points there. And then there's a few other statements here at the end regarding honor code, not plagiarizing or misrepresenting work as your own, and then accommodations, and then inclement weather policy, which shouldn't apply for our online course. I will notify you if any changes need to be made in due dates or due times, and usually those are made in your favor in the sense that I will be extending a due date if necessary. And let me just say again, to really review carefully the documents online, the rubrics, there is a separate folder, and it's under course resources, and it says long-term project and rubrics. And you really want to familiarize yourself with how these different assessments are going to be graded so that you're informed about that moving forward. But again, I'm looking forward to going through these important works of literature with you, hearing your thoughts and responses to these things online, and please don't hesitate to let me know if you have any questions. All the best.